Hi, I'm Jennifer Hollick with the World War II Research and Writing Center and Finding the Answers Journey. I wanted to share an update about the masterclass I've been running, the Your Family's War Journey, a Transformational Masterclass. This is the second session, which began in July, and we're wrapping up next week. And it seems like it went by so fast, and everybody in the class has said that also. The masterclass will run again in November and again in January, and I'll be opening up registration in about 4 weeks for the November session. The invitation will go out to all the people who have asked to be on the early bird list, and then it will be opened up to the general public. And I wanted to share just a few insights and things that happened in this session. Throughout the discussion, we used this book, Reconciliation with War, and it's about a 9th Infantry Division combat veteran and his family, and it's told from his daughter's perspective about her life growing up, his war experience, the PTSD, and everything that the family endured in silence and in secret, like most families did, and her escape, coming home, and healing process, and how she reconciled with her family. Now, I have 4 people in the July session, and one of them actually lost her father during World War II. He was killed in action in Italy, and she's one of my research clients, and I offered the class to her. And she said, well, I don't think that much of this really applies to me, PTSD or anything like that, because my dad didn't come home. But the class has completely opened her eyes and transformed her way of thinking about her family, what was said and unsaid, and her father's war experience. So just because your story or what you've learned about your story so far doesn't exactly fit with what the book is, that doesn't mean that it cannot be a contribution to your research, to the stories that you write and the things that you tell your family. Now, last night in the class, we were wrapping up the healing sections of the book where Janelle, the author, talks a lot about all the different processes she went through and things that she does for herself to have peace with everything. And one of the participants said, when I asked, what is your overall idea of the book and everything now that we're almost at the end? And one woman said that it really gave her permission to look at all of her father's letters. He served in the European theater during the war, came home, her family's experience, her own experience in a new way. And it gave her permission on another level to really read through all of the letters that her father had written and start to dive deeper into his war experience after she received these letters over 20 years ago. And she realizes, as most everybody in the class does, that just because we receive information, a set of letters, maybe somebody in the family has done a little bit of research, but they stopped because of the fire in St. Louis, or it's just not time for you to really pursue this, that we're not beating ourselves up over it. A lot of this is about timing, and especially when we talk about military research and really taking a deep dive, which is what we do in this class, to see what did our families really go through, what did we go through, and the inherited trauma that's passed down. It's not something that if you're not emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually ready for it, that this will be a contribution for you. Whether it's taking the class or doing the military research or really looking at those letters and asking the big, tough questions. So, if you are interested in taking a seriously deep dive into your family history, your personal history, and your family's military history, you can send me an email at info@wwiirwc.com asking to be put on the early bird list. I only take 10 people per class session. This allows us to have a much more intimate discussion and for people to really get to know each other and share on a deeper level than they would if it was a big class. We also do a weekly live Zoom facilitation, and having a smaller group also allows for everybody to share if they choose. No one is ever required to share if the topic that we're talking about or the question I ask is too uncomfortable for them. Throughout this class, you also do a lot of writing. There are no assignments right now to turn in, although I might change that a little bit for the November session. And I provide a tremendous amount of resources for you as far as military research and writing and looking at inherited trauma, PTSD, a lot of the issues that get brought up in this story, and through all the conversations that we have throughout the master classes. So if you're interested, send me an email and I will add you to the early bird registration list. And if you have any other questions or you're not sure if this class is for you, let me know. We can set up a phone consultation and discuss it. And many of the people who have taken the class have been former clients or their current clients, whether it's research or they're writing their story. So we can definitely talk about a research project at the same time and see how that affects your class experience. I look forward to working with you, and let's see what we can change in your life.